Okay, One Piece 1106, let's talk about it because it's a lot of stuff that's going on, and bottom line is right here, KIZARU and Saturn 9 times out of 10 is finna get jumped, and I got a couple reasons why, so let me explain myself. For one of the most obvious reasons, we have the pacifistas who have now switched because of Mr. Vegapunk and Bonnie. Now we have the pacifistas on our side. Not only do we have that, we have Dory and Brogy over here causing chaos on the marine ships, and I'm supposing within the next couple chapters they're just going to keep on taking out the ships, so eventually all the marine ships are going to be gone. So we got, like I said, the pacifistas, we got Dory and Brogy, we have Luffy back in gear 5, back at his full power, ready to throw hands. He just rocked KIZARU, and not only that, we have Luffy with his little heartbeat beating again. We got the music, we got the Joy Boy, everything going on. You remember the last time that happened, we had the giant robot that eyes glowed up, so now it's pretty obvious now that Luffy got his heart beating again, everything going, that robot is probably finna pull up. I don't know how it's gonna do it, but we saw the eyes glowing in chapter 1092, so we know that now that the music's back going, he finna wake up and he finna cause chaos. We have Zoro versus Lucci, which I really want to touch on a little bit later, but I'm gonna talk about it now since we here. So if you're not used to the anime tropes within One Piece, there's a whole bunch of tropes that's in One Piece, and there's a couple with Zoro. We have the Zoro is lost tropes, and there's sometimes within an arc where Oda, and this is with all anime in general, they'll always have a character that's, you know, relatively strong, and they'll have them go fight somebody else or go do something random in a different location away from the main events to keep them away from the main events. I'm not saying that Zoro being right here alongside Sanji and Frankie going against KIZARU and Saturn, I'm not saying that Zoro is literally going to be the ace up their sleeve and just going to cause chaos. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in general, there's a reason that Oda has been holding Zoro back, because this big fight that's about to take place within the next couple chapters is going to be huge, and Zoro's going to play a humongous role within that. So, but before Zoro can get to this fight, we all know he is fighting Lucci, and now I know there's a lot of speculation on is he still fighting Lucci because of what Nami said, and that Jinbei is sent on the way to try to break them up. And now personally, what we've seen so far past Wano and how far Zoro has advanced, if you honestly think that Zoro is still fighting Lucci, honestly, I don't know what to say to you. We are in the end of series. A lot of people always talk about, oh, just wait till the end of series this, wait till the end of series that, but if you don't realize, this is the final saga, so we are in the first part of the end of the series. So it's no more talk about, oh, just wait till he powers up this. No, we are in that moment of Zoro and the others powering up in this end of series state. So honestly, I find it no benefit to Zoro's character, because you know he has to fight Mihawk, but again, that's a different story. There's no benefit to his character to have him stall out with Lucci. We have Jinbei looking for Zoro. I think it's going to be one of two things that's going to happen. One, Jinbei's just going to find Lucci laid out, or two, Jinbei is going to find Zoro, and Zoro's probably going to say something about Lucci running away or something of that nature. I don't think Oda is going to spend his time with how everything's been going on so far with an Egghead. I don't think he's going to spend his time now to dedicate a whole 1 or 2 chapters to Zoro and Lucci fighting. It's going to be ended, or somebody must have ran away, because there's no way that Oda is going to dedicate 1 or 2 or 3 chapters, like I said, to this fight when we have everything causing chaos right now. So moving on, now I'm going to list everything. We got the pacifistas, Luffy gear 5, Dory and Brogy. We have Zoro potentially coming into the fight. We have the mystical robot, the ancient robot that eyes are lighting up, and now we're probably going to have that as well. And to be honest with you, the only people we got left is Saturn and KIZARU. So how are they going to deal with that threat? And it's simple, they just gonna get jumped, which right now I'm going to predict that Saturn is going to have some type of next level up, or he gonna change forms or something, because I'm going to be completely honest with you, and this is just coming from my view on how Saturn is right now, and no disrespect to Frankie at all, but Frankie hit that man with a beam and it went right through his chest. And yes, Saturn has his healing capabilities, but at the same time, maybe it's just because since he has those healing capabilities, he doesn't feel the need to move out the way and he just takes the hit. But at the same time, I don't see Saturn as a huge threat right now. And to go even further, I think that KIZARU is even a higher threat right now than Saturn is, because to be honest with you, Saturn, yeah, he did one tap Sanji with the little eye thing or whatever, but at the same time, I guess my expectations for Saturn were higher than what it is, and now that we're seeing Saturn, is just like, I thought Saturn was gonna be causing storms, gonna have the island shaking, gonna be punching everybody out the way, and I guess this is just the Saturn we got. That's why I'm thinking Saturn's gonna have to have some type of power up, or Saturn has something up his sleeve left to be able to cause chaos, because the odds are heavily stacked against system, especially with the pacifistas now in our control. And again, we have the robot and we have Zoro eventually pulling up to this fight, because like I said earlier, there's no possible way this man Zoro could still be fighting Lucci after all of this time. And I know the fight was only 10 minutes because the backstory didn't count, so the total amount of chapters doesn't equate to how long their fight was, but at the same time, Luffy and KIZARU already had their fight, and we have now the main event fight starting. There's no way we have that fight without Zoro included, so I don't know how that Zoro versus Lucci fight is going to conclude, but at the same time, I think it's pretty obvious it probably got off screen because we got the main event coming. Now, talking about KIZARU and Luffy, I think a lot of people are thinking we're getting a Luffy versus KIZARU 2. I honestly do not think that. Since we are finally at this main event fight, I'm pretty sure Luffy, like he said, he's in his full power, he's back in gear 5. I'm pretty sure Luffy is going to turn his attention to Saturn, especially with that amazing backstory we just got with Kuma. I think it's pretty obvious Luffy is going to turn his attention to Saturn, and now we're going to have probably some of the Straw Hats fight KIZARU. It's either going to be Zoro versus KIZARU, Zoro and Sanji versus KIZARU, or simply KIZARU just getting jumped by all the Straw Hats in general. But I think we're finally going to get this grand fight between Luffy Gear 5 and Saturn. And also maybe Kuma might try to throw in another punch, because Kuma seemed like he's still trying to kick it a little bit, but he seemed like he's struggling at the same time. So we have so much happening. We do have a break week next week, but chapter 1107 is probably going to be one of the most monumental chapters within the series, because the odds are stacked up against Saturn and KIZARU, and I'm going to be honest to you, it's not looking good for them. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think Saturn got a new form that he finna pull out? Do you think that him and KIZARU can handle all of these threats by themselves? And do you think that Zoro off-screen Lucci, or do you really think they still fighting at this point in time, especially with everything going on? Y'all let me know down in the comments below, and until next time, peace out.